Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Fabian here.
Cache McClay.
So, I think what Prince Harry didn't say tells a whole story.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It tells a whole story. He was interviewed by Hoda Kotb, who is great, by the way, and she, with the Today Show. And, you know, she asked the obvious questions about, you know, what was your meeting like with the Queen? And he was
Right.
very gracious about it and said, you know, they talk about stuff that she doesn't talk about publicly, which I found kind of interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
But then Hoda kind of said, do you miss your family? And we're going to let you hear what he said. And then she follows up with specific family members. Listen to this.
Your family at home, do you miss them?
Yes, I think, especially over the last 2 years, for most people, have they not missed their family, right? The inability to be able to get home and see them. Of course, that's a huge part of it.
But do you miss your brother, your dad?
Look, I mean, for me, at the moment, I'm here focused on these guys and these families and giving everything I can, 120% to them to make sure that they have the experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's my focus here. And then when I leave here, I get back and my focus is my family, who I miss massively.
You do.
So he said it all right there. He said when he's talking about family and the UK, he seems to be referring to the Queen, maybe extended cousins, etc. He is not addressing his brother, Prince William, and his dad, Prince Charles.
Oh, he had a choice to address it.
Yeah.
He specifically
Dodged.
deflected.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
And then starts talking about the families of the Invictus participants.
Right.
Yeah.
My focus is here. My focus isn't there.
I mean, what else do you need to know?
Yeah, he laid it all out. He said he felt more home now more than ever. And I think that just
Right.
that just states it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about home. It's not about whether because he does say, you know, Santa Barbara's his home
Right.
and all. But he said he misses his family. He is separating the Queen from the brother and the father
yes.
without any doubt. I mean, this is a big deal
Right.
because he met with his dad, who he's had issues with, and he's even talked about that.
Right.
And clearly, there's still a rift there. He did not meet with his brother, who is the future king.
Which is, in my mind,
Yeah.
more telling.
Totally.
And
totally.
I will say though, it's not clear though. Like it could have been his brother's choice not to meet with him as well, just
That's
because
true.
there's been so much tension going on. We just don't know if Prince Harry is the culprit of
it
the
probably-
meeting not happening.
It probably goes both ways.
Right.
But Harry bought into it because Harry could have said, yeah, I miss my brother too.
Yeah.
He didn't
could've.
say.
He didn't.
In fact, by dodging it the way he did, by immediately going to the Invictus Games and then saying, and I miss my family back in the United States.
Right.
He did a complete circle around
He
his
did,
brother.
and very expertly, by the way. Like kudos to Harry for knowing how to
Very
manage
smooth.
PR. But I mean, obviously, this all kind of goes back to Meghan's claim that somebody in the royal family has said some unsavory things about Archie and race and skin color and things like that. And the more this drags on, because that's all this all kind of boils down to that in my eyes. The longer this drags on, and there's only two people it could be at this point in my mind. It was either Prince Charles who allegedly said it or Prince William. And in my mind, it seems like perhaps his brother might have been the one who said it. Because
I'll tell you why I disagree with you. William, he's young enough that you wouldn't.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
I imagine
Maybe
that
that's
he would.
why it cuts so deep, though. I mean, we just
That's
don't know
true.
the conversations.
I
behind
just can't
closed
imagine.
doors.
He doesn't. William does not seem like the guy that would say that.
You're right. He seems a little more aware, self-aware. Maybe his dad seems perhaps a little old school,
And
out
he
of
is old-
touch.
and he is
He
old
is
school, out
old
of
school,
touch.
and perhaps out of touch as a result.
Yeah.
So
And if he
you're
were
right.
the one to say that, though, that would kind of make it worse, given those things, though.
Yeah.
So
What do you
we-
mean, his dad or his brother?
No, the brother.
I
Oh.
don't think William is connected to
So
this.
then why do you think Harry is so sour with
Because
him?
there was a big thing when Meghan came in that they felt that that Meghan and Kate had not that William and Kate had not embraced Meghan, and there was a big thing between Meghan and Kate. Remember, there was a thing where Kate had suggested that Meghan made her cry during the wedding.
That's right.
And then Meghan said, no, she made me cry.
Yeah, dueling narratives. Yep.
This is an age-old thing
Sure.
where somebody new comes in the family, not accepted by the other,
Right.
and then the sibling doesn't like the brother or the sister because you're not accepting my wife.
Right.
But is it deeper than just like not accepting a inmate? Could it be just like, racism and other things that like so much deeper that play a role in this?
Maybe I think Harry and Meghan perceive it that way. Like, like the fact that like William and Kate didn't embrace them. I'm sure Meghan feels a certain type of way about that, and I'm sure she might think like, oh, like what's up with your brother? Like what's going on? And he's married to this woman, right? So she has a lot of influence on him. I don't know. It's kind of sad in my opinion. Like it's sad that Harry is sort of isolating himself.
I don't know that we can even use the word isolate. I mean, he's saying he's happier now. He
You're
feels
right.
his mom's presence now more than ever.
He does.
He's called these people, this place his home, these people his family. It's sad for us on the outside looking in, expecting a certain, decorum and
Right.
way of things. But for him, if he's happy,
True.
I mean,
If he's happy, live your life, do your thing, and
I'm
yeah,
just
we'll
not. There's something that feels sad.
I agree
with him because he's now completely estranged from his family.
Yeah,
really.
you can tell he's deeply hurt.
He is completely estranged from his family.
Yeah.
And he loves his and
the
wife
queen,
and his kids,
God bless
for
her, is on her last legs. You know what I
Right.
mean? Her birthday's tomorrow.
Absolutely. And he's
I
not.
agree.
And by the way, he wasn't even committing to going to the Jubilee.
No, he wasn't
And I
because of
agree.
security. That's a whole other thing
Yeah,
too.
I mean, he could be hurt, but maybe for him, this is the lesser, like this feels better off than being hurt, there. Like you just
Right.
never know he said it himself, so we don't have to speculate.
That's true.
Even though he still can be hurt, though, I think both can be true.
Right.
So the second gentleman of the United States of America
Doug Emhoff
was shopping in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this clip, and I'll tell you why. So he is just wearing casual stuff,
Right.
coming out of a fancy, expensive bookstore where he
Right.
bought a book. And the funny thing is, I mean, you got to go to our website, by the way, and look at the clip to see the Secret Service. I love this. I wonder
Yeah.
what the Secret Service, like when you join the Secret Service, do you have to buy Beverly Hills wear, formal wear,
Probably.
beach wear,
Florida wear.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they're wearing Beverly
You're going to
Hills
Germany,
wear.
you got to get the clogs and,
Right.
and the suspenders. Yeah.
And so they're wearing these. They're like these plaid cool shirts.
Right. It's LA type clothes.
But they
for sure.
stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
they
do.
I mean,
They
you
do.
can totally see him. So our camera guy was great. So here's what he said.
How you doing, Mr. Second Gentleman, sir? Welcome to Beverly Hills. Get the TMZ experience.
Good to be back home.
Yes. I see you did some shopping for an art or an art book. I'd love to know what you got.
Well, it's a surprise for somebody.
Uh-oh, the vice
might not be a
president.
surprise. I would actually ruin the surprise if I told you guys.
Okay, I got that. Hey, how's everything? I know the vice president loves to cook. Does she still have time these days, or has she not been able to do much of that anymore?
She's busy being vice president, and
When was the last time you had a home-cooked meal?
once in a while she will surprise me.
Yeah.
And she's an amazing cook, and cooking for her is something that she just loves doing. It's about family. It's something that we're all able to be together. It's something that.
What's
we
her
do
go-to
together.
meal these days to prepare?
Again, I'm gonna have to save that information. Let her tell you.
Classified.
Got it, man.
Hey,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
President Biden apparently told President Obama that he's running again. Is that true? Do you think Madam Vice President will be the first female president? All right, you've been cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Doug.
Good to see you.
Great to see you out
Have a
here.
good time in Beverly Hills.
The silence and the body language in that last question was deafening.
Yes.
What did you make of it? Because like I kind of interpreted all that as annoyance with our camera guy. The fact that the interview kind of dragged a little long. He should have gotten to the heavy stuff first, in my opinion. Like one light question, then get to the heavy.
No.
No?
You do the opposite.
All right, well, I'm not a good photog then.
He did the right thing. I think Doug is walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Because I think just the climate now is anything you say, you're going to get dragged or she's going to get dragged.
Right.
And
Or
so-
misinterpreted or whatever. Yeah.
And so it was like, what's her go-to meal?
He could have said the meal, though.
I mean, he didn't
Just
even
say
say the meal.
halibut. Just say halibut and be done. I'm just kidding.
Say halibut or something. I know, but he didn't. And I just think he was so kind of gingerly dealing with all
the
of
fact
this.
that he was playful with us and open with us, I really appreciated. Like that was great. Like because he didn't have to say anything at all. I'm actually shocked he opened up as much as he did on the president stuff. I mean, look, like Joe Biden running again. We'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see. I'm curious if
he couldn't answer that.
He could.
I'm
curious.
No, he shouldn't. There's no way he would have answered that question.
Right.
Because I think what he did do was a little like awkward. Like I think if it were a definite no, he wouldn't have reacted that way. Like with his body language.
You're right.
He cannot. If he answered the question, will your wife be the first female president? If he said yes, there would be an explosion.
Right. Kamala's running.
Kamala's running.
Right.
Is she going to challenge Joe?
Right.
What about all the other people?
In the Biden
Is she really
administration.
gonna
Right. All the narratives you can think of.
He was smart not to answer that question.
Right.
But I got to tell you, I've got some contacts here.
Oh.
He is loving this role.
Is he?
Oh, he is loving it. He is
meaning that not having to do anything? Like
No. He just loves the
esteem or what?
Yeah, I mean it's an important position, and
it's the first time a man was in the position.
That's true,
and he
That's
loves
true.
it. He's teaching it. I think at Georgetown he's teaching law,
Right.
entertainment law. He's what I'm hearing is he is having a great.
He's basking in the
great time
in the vice presidency. Sure,
why not? Okay. So last night, this whole Blac Chyna Kardashian lawsuit.
This is a big one.
So you know that Blac Chyna is suing the Kardashians, saying that they intentionally tanked her reality show, and she's suing for a lot of money, millions and millions. Well, her mom went off yesterday and was saying all sorts of kind of profane things about the Kardashians. The judge banned her from the courtroom.
Right.
And listen to what her mom said
after that.
Why is this? Just put me out of the courtroom. I can't write. I'm gonna get your judge. Never mind.
I'm gonna get that judge.
And she recorded this herself, right? On Instagram Live.
Yeah. Instagram Live.
Was she talking to Blac Chyna or no?
No, she was just talking. And she was saying, I'm gonna get that judge. That is not a good move.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, you're in the middle of this trial, and she is not ingratiating herself or her daughter with the judge by saying that.
Right.
Number two, this is a really bad time for judges. I mean, if you remember the federal judge whose son was murdered.
Yeah, that was a huge thing.
And I believe her husband shot as well.
Right.
Judges are under attack. And law enforcement is taking this really seriously.
Right.
And when anybody makes a claim like that, we have not confirmed that law enforcement is now looking into it, but I would be shocked if they don't. I mean, they have to look at something.
Look into it as in like
a threat.
Like investigate her.
It's a
and basically go and check in with her and say, hey, like at least have a sit down with her and just see like what her actual intentions are.
I'm going to get that judge is an ominous statement.
Sure, it is.
That is an ominous
I'm
statement.
sure Tokyo Tony did not mean it.
I agree.
I mean
that way, but she can't say that. It's just
you're
very.
Right.
Well, she's going to have to explain herself.
True.
Yeah, and I agree with that. She's going off on Instagram Live even before that, like you said with the Kardashians. She's just kind of off the hinges right now. But I don't think she meant to end that way.
So either.
Well,
we'll see.
I don't know how she meant it.
Well, I want to quickly talk about just the trial.
Yeah.
I think it's in day 2 at this point.
Yep.
So jury selection.
Day 2.
Yeah, so yesterday, jury selection got finalized. 8 men, 8 women, 4 alternates. Opening statements got kicked off shortly thereafter. And Chyna's lawyer, I don't know the woman's name, Chiani, I believe it is. Last name Chiani. Made a lot of claims, and she says that we have the goods. We have evidence that shows that there's text messages from Kris Jenner that we have, text messages from Kim that we have. One from Kris that she says they're going to show apparently shows Kris saying, quote, like, get her off the show, and other insults to Chyna, like, oh, she's ghetto, she's this, she's that. Kris apparently also alleged that Chyna had beaten up Rob and like punched him in the face, and Chyna's lawyer says there's no truth to that. We have unseen, unaired footage that because they were filming all the time around that time, the whole crew was, and showing Rob was fine. He didn't have a mark on him. So this claim from Kris Jenner that Chyna had apparently hit him is BS. And she also says that Kim was in the mix of kind of getting, apparently getting her show canceled or whatever. So it's
2 points. One is get her off the show. That's what they say Kris said.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense, and I'll tell you why. What's the name of the show?
Rob and Chyna.
So what is it, Rob?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
But the
Rob
show did get canceled, though.
The show that's my second point. But when you say Rob, that doesn't make sense. In other words, either the show exists with Rob and Chyna or it doesn't exist
at all.
But to say get her off the show doesn't make sense because then what's
there's
left?
There's not much. There's not more context to it. We don't know. Yeah,
so
right,
that doesn't make sense. The second thing is, and I don't know this for a fact, but unless I know zero about the law, the Kardashians are gonna call the guy who runs E.
Yeah,
or the person who runs E.
100%.
And you got to ask him, did you cancel because of us? Or did you cancel because the ratings sucked?
Right.
If the guy says, look, this happens all the time where people trash other people. We canceled the show because the ratings weren't good.
Right.
It seems to me that's the end of the case.
Yeah, and the Kardashians' attorney also had opening statements too, and I was reading that they said something to the effect of look, the Kardashians were producers on this show. They were making money from this show. So
why would they
hurt their own bottom line?
Yeah, but they also don't need that money.
You're right. That's true. They don't need it 100%. And so we'll see. I'm very curious. This is a high profile case. All the ladies except Courtney are in the room. I don't think Courtney is actually wasn't named in the lawsuit
because Courtney has a condo now at Disneyland.
Yeah. Courtney's living her own life. But Chris, Kylie, Kim, Khloe, they're in court. They're sitting there stone faced watching this. And the jury was kind of, when they were doing jury selection, some of the jurors or potential jurors were sort of trashing them, and it was funny to kind of see you kind of seeing what some of the public, how they perceive you, and it's not great. That's just the truth,
I think this is particularly interesting because you have the Kardashians who sort of kind of run Hollywood, and then you have the Blac Chyna and her mom who aren't as big. And if they win and they come out on top in this case, it just be interesting to see them kind of win over such a big, powerful family.
And the fact that Blac Chyna is seeing this through, and because it takes a lot of not guts, but it takes a lot of balls, I would say, to step up to the Kardashians and see something like this through. And she's doing it, and it's playing out for us to all see. So,
Cache, I can't believe you just said that.
Wait, what did I say?
The Kardashians are running Hollywood.
Okay, I mean,
they got clout, Harvey.
They got clout.
I mean,
they do have
100%.
clout.
For a lot of
my
people,
God.
I mean, it's 5 of them. They're everywhere. They're in reality TV.
Force.
I don't literally mean running Hollywood, but they are a force to be reckoned with for a lot of people, especially compared to Blac Chyna and her mom.
Well, that's for sure. Speaking of who is not running Hollywood right now, Johnny Depp says his career is ruined because of Amber Heard.
Yeah.
It's very strange when one day you're Cinderella, so to speak, and then in 0.6 seconds you're Quasimodo. I didn't deserve that, nor did my children.
So this is getting real now on the stand. Johnny is on the stand.
I've been watching this trial daily. In fact, right before we came in here, I was watching day 2. He's testifying day 2 of his testimony. And yesterday, he was on there for 3 hours or so. He got into his childhood and how he was abused by his mother, and how he eventually got into drugs at a young age, and eventually spoke to Amber a little bit. He's talking more about it today. But what he said yesterday was interesting about Amber. He said, at first when I met her, she was too good to be true. I was in love with her.
And went through all of her good qualities.
Yeah, went through all of her good qualities and said we were good for about a year and a half into the relationship. And then when I finally kind of moved in with her and sort of intertwined my life with her, that's when I kind of started seeing some things that were troubling to me as who is this person? You're not the person I met. Namely, a little interesting anecdote he told. He said, when we first got together and we were living together, she got into the habit of taking, I get home, she'd have a glass of wine for me right from the get-go, and then she would kind of take off my cowboy boots for me. This became a ritual for them. I come home, here's the wine, plop down, she takes off the boots for him. It was this kind of wifely sort of thing she did for him. And one day he came home, she was busy. Anyway, forget that. But anyway, so when one day he came home, he says he came home, she was busy in the other room. And he didn't want to stand there awkwardly and kind of wait for her to do this, even though she was in the practice of doing it. So he just did it himself, which is, in my mind, no big deal. He didn't think it was a big deal either. Took off his boots. She comes into the room. She looks at him and says, "What did you do?" And this is what he says. She said, "What did you do?" And she said, I took off my boots. And she says, No. You don't do that. That's my job." And she got very riled up about it, and he was shocked. And he said, I made a mental note of that at the time. What was that? Why did you react this way? And he says from there, it got worse. Oh yeah, no, it got way worse.
So here's the thing. And do you think that when this is all said and done, when the dust settles, is one of them going to be the knight in shining armor and the other the villain, or are they both going to be sullied?
They're both going to go down. It's just such a messy fight. I mean, her claims are he lost in the UK and they painted him as a wife beater regardless.
I just don't know
how to bring that up. The claims you made about her. I mean, he said she made him go to bed at a certain time.
Neither of them are going to be. Well, neither of them are going to be the blameless one. Well, here's my point. This is going both ways. Yeah. That he's testifying and it's going to turn very quickly and he's going to start talking about all of her missteps and misdeeds.
Yeah.
She is going to do the same thing. My gut on this case, and this is why I thought, why did Johnny Depp do this in the first place? My gut is the jury's going to say a pox on both your houses and not award either anything. Now, I may be wrong on that, but I think it's going to get so ugly. I mean, we know it's ugly.
Yeah.
Right. We know what's behind all of this and what's going to come out in the testimony. And when it comes out that she allegedly crapped in his bed, she says no. She says he hit me or threw wine bottles.
Yeah.
At a point, the jury's going to say, oh, you guys deserve each other.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I really mean it. And that's why I think this case didn't make sense to me from the beginning. If Johnny Depp wins, I'm going to be shocked. If Amber Heard wins, I'm going to be shocked. I just think the jury is going to look at this.
But they have to decide one way or another. I mean, someone's going to win this case.
No.
How does that work?
What they could say is, Johnny, you didn't meet the burden of proof on your defamation claim. Amber, you didn't meet the burden of proof on your claim. Right. And they could basically say it's a wash. 0-0.
I think even if someone does win, to your point, Fabian, they'll still both look bad. I mean, these claims are like they're not small things.
And look, I mean, let's just clarify what this is really about. Amber Heard says Johnny Depp hit her. Johnny Depp says, I never laid a hand on you. He says he has evidence to prove that, like photos, and he's bringing cops to testify about whether they saw marks on her or not. You know what I mean? There's photos that we have published of showing Amber Heard kind of showing off bruises. Johnny Depp says those are fabricated.
Right.
And to your point about him pushing the envelope on this and really relitigating this, I agree. Like, it's not the best business decision, but in his mind, he said this on the stand. He says, "I'm interested in the truth," and he clearly feels.
But Fabian, if you're right, it's not the best business decision because if he gets $50 million, she doesn't have that money, so it's not going to be about money. It's about career, and his career by filing this lawsuit in England went into the toilet because nobody would touch him and they started canceling him. This is just going to double down. So what I don't understand is he got out of this divorce with a career still intact.
He did.
Yeah.
And he is now, by trying to avenge all of this, I think it's self-destructive.
And I guess what I'll say to that is, in his mind, maybe he thinks, I don't care about my career. I don't care about anything. I just care about the truth. For the moral, he wants to maybe make this moral point.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he does.
And I think that's why he's doing this, to clear the air, but it's working against him.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Johnny Depp sounds very relatable on the stand to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how the UK proceedings, I don't know how that works. It's one judge making a decision. That's crazy to me. I'm sorry, that's crazy to me. What?
By the way, that happens in the United States too.
But but juries, that's more of more of a fair shot. You have more of a fair shake with the actual jury than one man kind of weighing it all and making a decision.
Not always. When it's emotional, sometimes it's better to have the judge hear the case.
Yeah.
I get, I suppose.
No, it is. And
that's
why lawyers
I
do.
just think that we'll see. I don't know.
I'm sure we're going to talk about this on Friday. Have a good one, everybody.
All right.